Coming in at number 11 is the Epistle of Mathetes to Diognetus. This epistle is from sometime in the 2nd century. Diognetus was a tutor of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Mathetes is Greek for student or disciple, so it's not a proper name. The letter was discovered in the 13th century in a codex with letters from Justin Martyr. Justin Martyr was living around the same time, and he was writing similar apologetic letters to Roman authorities, which makes Justin a possible candidate for the letter, where he's just referring to himself as the student or the disciple. In the letter, he claims to be a disciple of the apostles, which this would actually be a disconnect from Justin, because he would be an unlikely candidate as he wasn't a disciple of the apostles. Either way, the letter indicates that Diognetus was interested in learning more about the Christians, and this letter is a defense and a description of Christianity and Christ himself. It's a fairly basic defense. Christians find idols to be vanity and false worship. Christians aren't superstitious like the Jews. He compares the worship of the Jews to pagan idolatry, that the God who created everything is in need of nothing, he says. He is highly critical of the Jews, calling their worship madness and folly, so that's a pretty prominent aspect of this letter. He describes the Christians as otherworldly, but also good citizens, that they don't wear distinct clothes or eat different foods from the natives of their respective cities, whether they're Greek or barbarian, but that their moral character is different. I'm summarizing and kind of quoting here. They marry and have children, but they don't destroy their offspring. They have a common table, but not a common bed. They are in the flesh, but they don't live after the flesh. They obey the prescribed laws and yet surpass the laws by their lives. They love all men and are persecuted by all. He's describing Christians in this way that's in the world, but not of the world. He says that Christians are like the soul of the world. He defends the reality of Christ, and he explains why Jesus came. Though he never actually uses the name Jesus or Christ, he always refers to Christ as the Word. In one chapter, he explains the timing of Christ's manifestation. And what's interesting is that he puts forward the doctrine of substitutionary atonement. It's often said by Romanists and Eastern Christians that substitutionary atonement was a Protestant invention, but here it appears that the disciple is teaching this very thing. Reads as follows: "But when our wickedness had reached its height," he's talking about the world of the Gentiles, "and it had been clearly shown that its reward, punishment, and death was impending over us, and when the time had come which God had before appointed for manifesting his own kindness and power, how the one love of God, through exceeding regard for men, did not regard us with hatred, nor thrust us away, nor remember our iniquity against us, but showed great long-suffering, and bore with us. He himself took on him the burden of our iniquities. He gave his own Son as a ransom for us, the Holy One for transgressors, the blameless one for the wicked, the righteous one for the unrighteous, the incorruptible one for the corruptible, the immortal one for them that are mortal. For what other thing was capable of covering our sins than his righteousness? By what other one was it possible that we, the wicked and ungodly, could be justified than by the only Son of God? Oh, sweet exchange."